Good morning, my second prep students. With you, Mr. Abdelbaki Rodi. Today, we will speak about Unit 14, Schooled Around the World. Schooled Around the World. I'll start with the grammar. Obligation and lack of obligation. This is, as I said, Unit 14. Prep 2. Type. Number 1. What do you mean of obligation? It means something you have to do, you must do. For example, I will use has, to, have, to, and must to express obligation. Number 1, has to, you can use them with he, she, and it, and any singular noun. But it must followed by infinitive, like you know. Don't say he has to playing. To play is, but to play. Don't use any addition after has to. Number 2, have to. You can use have to with I, we, they, you, and any plural noun. Okay? It must followed by infinitive too. Don't forget. Time. Now let's have some exercise about, or some examples about have to and has to. Look with me. Obligation and lack of obligation. Have to, has to, and must. Has to and have to. Number of example, all students in Egypt have to go to school from the age of 6 to 15. At primary and preparatory schools, all students have to wear a uniform. May has to clean and tidy her room. We have to go to school on time. We must go to school on time. You have to read the correct answers. You have to read quietly at the library. You have to buy a ticket on a bus or a train. You have to look left and right before you cross the street. You must stop smoking. You have to stop smoking. It's necessary for. Now I will stop here because what is it necessary for? What this expression? This expression you can use it that equal has to or have to. For example, you have to wear uniform. You can say it's necessary for you. Now, if you want to use necessary, you can say it is, and then necessary for someone, for me, for him, for her, for Ali, for Mona, and you can say to plus infinitive. Again, please with me. It is necessary for someone to do something. Okay, don't forget. For example, here, look with me. It is necessary for my daughter to wear a uniform at school. Okay, it means my daughter has to or must wear a uniform at school. Now, we will speak about the negative. How can you express the negative? It means lack of necessity. I will say, if you want to change the sentence from the affirmative to the negative, you can say number 1, subject, and don't or doesn't. Don't with I, we, they, you. Doesn't with he, she, it. Okay. Subject, don't or doesn't, have to. That's infinitive. For example, you don't have to pick the flowers. We are early. We don't have to hurry. Amani doesn't have to trick on the others. You are on holiday. You don't have to study. If you want to ask, number 1, yes or no question, and number 2, WH question. yes or no question, you can say do or does. Do or does. Do you have to? Do with I, we, they. Do you have? Do they have? Do we have to? Number one, do, subject, have to. And then infinitive. Do you have to get up at 7 o'clock? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. You can say yes, I have to, or no, I don't have to. Does she have to? Does she have? Don't say does she has, but does she have? Why? Because does followed by infinitive. Does she have? Not has. Don't say does she has. To eat bananas, you can say yes or no. Yes, she has, or no, she doesn't have. Okay, this is very important to express the obligation. Now I will check with you the important of using must. Must, as I said, it must followed by number one subject, and then must, and then infinitive. You know this before. Subject, must, and infinitive. Number one, if you want to say some expressions about must, you can use it's necessary to. Like this. Like this. Huh? It's necessary to plus infinitive. It's necessary to wear a uniform. It means you must wear a uniform. It's important. It's essential. It's a must. All of this equal must to give the same meaning for must. Now, if you want to change this meaning to the negative, what can you say? The negative, you can say mustn't. Subject plus mustn't. Must not. Plus infinitive. Mustn't plus infinitive. Number one, subject like in subject, we say you, I, he, she, it. Mustn't. It means something you are not allowed to do it. For example, you are not allowed to take photos here. It means you mustn't take photos here. It's forbidden. It's banned. It's prohibited. It's against the law. And no smoking and no parking. All of this to express mustn't. Let's now to answer some questions about have to, has to, and must. Number one, look with me please. Look careful. You, space, use a pen to write the exam. Don't use a pencil. Don't use a pencil. You have to, you doesn't have to, has to, don't have to. I think you have to. You have to use a pen to write the exam. Don't use a pencil. Number two, at primary schools, all the children have to, have to wearing, wears, wore, or wear. I think wear. Infinitive. Don't say wore, don't say wears, and don't say wearing. All the students has to, or has, or have to, I think, have to. Number four, what space to do before you go to school? What have you do? What do you have? What do you have? What you have to do. I think, what do you have? What do you have? I said number one, WH, if you want to ask. Number one, WH, and then do or does. The subject, have to, and infinitive. Again with me, if you want to ask, number one, WH, and you can use do or does, subject, and have to plus infinitive, WH, do or does, subject, have to, and infinitive. Then question mark. With me? For example, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? at school? Huh? What do you have to do at school? You can say, I have to study my lessons. I have to wear my uniform. I have to, he has to, I must, he must, for example. Okay? Now, with me now. Number 4, we said, what do you have? What do you have to? Read and correct. Read and correct. Egyptian children don't have go. Oh. Don't have go or to go? Very good. Don't have to go. Don't say but to plus infinitive. Number 2. My aunt has to work it. Work it? Past. Oh. Don't use any additional, but you must use infinitive. My aunt has to work. Has to work. Not working, not works, not worked, but work. Off night, blah, blah, blah. Choose the correct answer. People space drive on the right in Egypt. Has to, have, don't have to, doesn't have to. I think people, don't have to. All the children in Egypt go to school from the age of 6 to 15. All the children in Egypt, here's the space, I'm sorry, here the space, not here. All the children in Egypt don't have to school from the age of 6 to 15? Oh, have to. I think have to. All children in Egypt have to go. Have to go. You don't have to, not two. I think two. T-O. Hassan space learn this vocab because he already knows them. Know that. Have to? Don't have to? Has to? Doesn't have to? Because he already knows. It means he doesn't have to. It's not necessary. It is unnecessary. Okay? Correct the underlined words. What do Sama? Sama, singular, very good, does. What don't you has to? Has to? Oh, have to. Do or does followed by infinitive have to. Okay? Thank you very much. And now we will speak about the vocab in the next video. Thank you very much.